Welcome back to the studio. So I've done a bunch of flowers today. We worked on about I don't know, 4, 5, 6. I don't remember. This time I'm going to do something a bit different. So I changed the colors to red. So we have a beautiful red flower. Actually, I'm looking at it, and I might use another red for the. I mean, you see on the palette. So I was thinking about doing that red, but now I'm moving maybe into this one, which is more of a darker red a little bit. I think it's a bit more strength, more power, whatever. So when you do something like this, there's a couple of things you need to be careful about. So first of all, I need to stretch my paper, which I was supposed to do, but I didn't do. So I need to find my tape. Where is it? Where did I put my tape? Oh, here it is. So I guess most of you have seen me doing that already, but for those who didn't, I'm going to show you again. So, I just cover. I'm using some masking tape. For this one, I use the white one. I like the white one. I know if you go to a paint store, most of the time the masking tape is either beige. Beige is okay. Beige works well, but the blue one can be a little bit confusing because of the blue. So I'm using this one. It's white, so I don't really see it. So on that painting particularly, it's going to be a bit challenging, and I'm going to see how it works because the paper is gray, and I'm going to paint red on it. So that might be affecting the gray, the red a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. It's not like we have any kind of pressure. I can do whatever I want. So, as I say, I'm going to paint red and with white. So for that, my turpentine is clean. I don't want to use a whole batch of turpentine because it's going to mix with the red and it might give some weird colors. For black and white, I don't really care. For red, I want to stay a little bit on the red side. My brushes at the beginning are going to be a bit funky because they're still loaded with the black and white. But, pretty quickly they're going to fill up in red. I love to paint red like this. It's just, I've done a whole series a long time ago about just red paintings. Really large, giant paintings of portraits and so on. And it was really challenging. Let's go back to the canvas. Okay, red, and we start. So on this one, I'm just going to outline the flowers quickly, just where they are, about it, da 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 da. This one might be a bit higher, this one might be more like here. Okay, done. And now the vase, boom, boom. Some leaves, up, and a bit stuff here, okay. So you see the drawing is really fast on that. When we'll start doing the portrait thing and so on, of course we'll spend much more time drawing and making sure that the lines are in place. I still do the portraits with, I don't use charcoal, I use pretty much the same thing. I work directly with oil painting or water-based because, so the reason I don't work with acrylic painting is because I feel like it's plastic. I don't like the matter, I don't like the rendering, I don't like the stiffness of the colors and the layers and so on. Now that said, if you add some, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but that's okay. If you add some, if you add some egg to your acrylic painting, it might become more alive. So egg, what do you mean egg? Egg, so there's an old technique that use egg and pigment. It's called tempera, and it's called gouache. And gouache is actually, most of the time, it's egg with pigment. So, of course, now the gouache we buy for kids and so on, and we buy it in stores, they don't have those it's not the same egg, because there's a reason for that, is that if you forget the painting in your studio and you come back 2 weeks after, you're not going to walk in your studio. It's going to smell like rotten eggs. So they add a little bit of essence of, oh my gosh, what it is. You can add some stuff, you know. I used to add some, what's the name? Ammonium. But the old masters, the old guys, they were using something that smelled better than ammonium. So you see, part of the problem with painting red, so I just want to point that out, is that I have those beautiful, on the real image that you will have on the left part of the screen, somewhere here. Somewhere here. You see those reds? They are more like, when the red meets with white, it's more like, it's not a pink. It's more like an orange. I'm not going to do that, because if we start mixing more than 2 colors, red and white, it's going to be much more complicated. But the truth is that if I had to paint that on a color painting, I would use orange instead of white here. So instead of having that pink, I would get those beautiful reds. But here, the goal is not to be so crazy and just, you know, I just want to have a little bit of, you know, we talked about it, fun and joy and so on. So geez, you're going to think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, I'm just having fun. I'm just like painting, tuk, 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 up. You know, let's enjoy what we're doing. Let's enjoy it so much. Let's love what we're doing. How lucky are we to paint? To be able to paint. You know, there's a lot of people in the world who don't have that luxury. And just for them, just in the memory of them, I need to have fun. I'm not working in a mine of potassium in Africa or something like this. I'm just doing painting. So try to remember that. Try to remember how lucky you are to be in front of your easel painting. Try to thank God and thank, and once again, I'm not a religious person. When I say thank God, try to thank whoever it is for you to be able to have that luxury today to paint. And don't lose that vision. Don't lose it. Don't get fool yourself about torturing yourself and being, oh my God, blah, blah. No, don't do that. I mean, do it if you want to. But there can be almost like a mystic experience about painting, about the joy of painting. And by the way, Bob Ross' lesson was called The Joy of Painting, because there was something like this. And this guy was a bit nuts. You know, he was, and I don't want to be disrespectful when I say he was nuts in a really good way. He was so full of love. And, you know, there's some of his quotes that I really love, like when he said, you know, even trees should have friends, even squirrels. By the way, I'm a big fan of squirrels. With Karen, we have a little bit of issue because I would love to get a raccoon, because I love raccoons. I think they're so cool. They look like gangsters. You know, they look like they have some mask and so on. I love all those things, you know, where I feel like a child again sometimes. You know, there's so many reasons for us to just be adults when we can go back to the child world. Just let's not waste it. So maybe I'm like a raccoon. I'm a thief right now. I'm stealing life. I'm stealing the fire from the god. I'm like the Sisyphus. I'm just having a blast doing something that not a lot of people have the time, the luxury to do. And by the way, maybe your collectors, that's what they love in what you're doing or what you will do, or, you know, it's just about, you know, like for example, I'm a doctor, you know, I have life in my hands and so on. And when I want to buy a painting, I don't want to buy the skill. I want to buy the freedom. And it's why a lot of collectors are actually professions that are doctors, lawyers, and so on. Because those guys, they don't need skills. They have the skill. What they need is freedom, hopes, light, energy. You know, it's funny because, and I'm not saying that in a negative way or whatever, it just my experience with art collectors is that a lot of art collectors who collect really contemporary art are usually people who sell or make business or make their fortune, their wealth with something that is intangible. Like, for example, a musician or a doctor or an IT guy, all those guys, they don't sell goods. Like a car dealer, he sells you a car. So the car dealer wants something solid on his wall. He wants something with skills, something that he can notice that you know what you're doing. The doctor, no, he wants to buy your freedom. He wants to feel like, you know, I'm working all day long. Sometimes it's, when you think about it, I'm sorry, I'm doing a little bit of a cleaning a mess. A doctor is not selling you anything. A doctor, when you go to see your doctor, he's selling you your health. But he's not going to go and sell you some sort of a, like a car dealer, he's selling you something tangible. I don't know, we had a talk a long time ago with a friend of mine, and we came up with that thing that actually a lot of art collectors are they're not buying something because it's well done. They're buying something because it's something, they walk in the room and they say, wow, that's just like something in their guts that catch them and make them feel alive, because something is more important than materialistic things. So try to remember that when you paint. You're not trying to paint something material, you're trying to paint something immaterial. You're trying to catch your freedom, you're trying to catch your breath, you're trying to catch your life, you're trying to catch something beautiful, something magical, something where people are going to say, wow. And if you can do that, you can make masterpieces. Now, I must be honest with you. It's difficult. It's difficult, and sometimes it's just something you don't know. It's coming to you. You don't know why. You don't know why. So red paintings like this are really, really strange because the range of action is limited. Instead of going from 0 to to 100, like black and white. Here the white is 0, but the red maximum is 60% or 70%, depending on the red you're using. So of course, it's just working more in a wider range. So it's like the swimming pool when you do laps is not as long, but you can still do your laps. So do your laps. Just map things, just compare things, just say, okay, this thing is redder, this thing is lighter, this thing, not redder because everything is red, but this thing is lighter, this thing is darker, this thing, just do that. Just try to see that, just try to, that's going to be so useful when you're going to switch to more sophisticated or more, not sophisticated because that thing is really sophisticated actually, but more personal stuff, or like going to portraiture or something, and you think, oh my god, it's more difficult. No, nothing is more difficult. There's no scale in the difficulty. There's a scale in lie, there's a scale in faking, there's a scale is in doing this kind of thing, but when it comes to that, no, there's no scale. It's 1 or 0. Either you're there or you're not. Just enjoy, just be free, be restlessness. That's the whole lesson about Picasso. And we can discuss, his morality. And, I know some people think he's just not a great man because he's a great artist, nobody questioned that, but as a man, and I agree with that, by the way, I read some stuff about him 30 years ago, 25 years ago, and it's not flattering, but that's the whole question right now. We've been facing that over the last few years. Is a great artist needs to be a great man? Is someone sick? Because sometimes there's some sickness about it, Like, for example, can a murderer be a good painter? That's a good question. That's a freaking good question. Is because you're a murderer, your art should never be seen or shown? So if you said, yeah, no, of course, being a murderer doesn't mean that your art should not be shown. So what about a rapist, a pedophile, and things like this? And believe me, I'm not bringing up that stuff just because it's just disturbing and so on. I just want you to question the fact that is the art of sick men, sick people, men or women, is it still watchable? And Caravaggio, Mr. Caravaggio, the great Caravaggio, from what I know, you always talk to historian guys who tell you, oh, you don't know crap, whatever. So from what I know, and maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm more than happy to hear about you. I heard he killed someone. And because he killed someone, does it mean we should hang him down from all the easels and all the museum and everything and just say, he's a murderer? We should not look at his work. I don't know. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you deal with that. I think painting is an act of love, and I think it's sometimes it's difficult to judge people. If we don't have the whole history. So you see, painting is also, it's also an act of thinking, an act of placing yourself on the map of humanity. Of course, it's just about sometimes, okay, I'm going to paint and I'm just going to paint and I'm just going to be happy and paint little flowers and blah, blah, blah. But of course, and the goal of this course is also to talk about art. Like, am I an artist? The only way to define if I'm an artist, I need to define what is art. And if I fit in it. And it might be shocking, but I don't think I'm an artist. I think I'm a painter. And history will tell if I'm an artist or just a painter. And I'm fine with it. Do I paint to be an artist? Yes. Am I sure I'm going to be an artist? No. Because to me an artist is, you see I'm talking and I'm losing something very important, is that those flowers are much darker. But if I make them much darker, they might disappear. But who cares? Because they are much darker. And I need to say the truth. Or at least try to say the truth. Because as soon as I start making the history my way, I'm losing the beauty of it. So you see there's something really philosophical about the whole thing. And it's why it's beautiful. Because all you need to do to be an artist is to look for your inner beauty. That you have. But you might not be able to find it. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's difficult, I think, to dissociate art and philosophy and all those things, all those beautiful feelings and so on. And once again, I'm absolutely okay discussing things with you. If you want to send me an email or feedback and so on and tell me, I don't agree with you, I'm okay. You see that thing about painting with red like this is just I don't know. I haven't done it for a long time. It's the first time, and I think it's why I'm so talkative and so, you know, kind of esoterical about it. Geez, that's a tough word. It's because it just, you know, it brings you back to something so much about little things, because you cannot, when you paint with monochromatic like this, you need to be just spot on. Otherwise you fail. Otherwise you fail. And you see, when I make those flowers darker, I was right. I mean, I was right. I was wrong because they're not perfect. That's what they are. But I was right in order to question my own certainty about making them the way they were. No, they were not. So just don't trust yourself. But you know, as human beings, we should just always doubt things. And it's going to come to you. Like this one. Maybe I should put a PG something on that video. Because I'm sorry guys, I went a bit more further than, you know, just the painting thing. But if you follow me, if you go with me on that trip, that's what you'll get. Just a bit further than just a nice painting or a nice image. Oh. So you see, that's exactly the point. It's a trip. And now I'm going to take off those beautiful tapes, as you know. Move that bus, move that bus. Okay. Here we are. And I'm sorry, I'm sure that the camera doesn't give a lot of credit to that thing, but that's okay. You know, I'm going to try to move to cam number 3, so maybe you can see it better. So you see, it just, I won't say it's a mystical trip, but a little bit. Next time I should use some blood. Okay guys, thank you so much. Had a good time. Thank you, bye.